These crows rule the neighborhood, man. They're like a gang, a street gang in the foothills. So the idea of the expanding earth, it goes back. Well, I found out about it like in 2009, I think, right around there. I was just watching some conspiracy video on YouTube, and this related video came up. It was like the 10 most craziest conspiracies known to man or whatever, and like that's how I first heard about the expanding earth. I've been studying it ever since then, 2009, and find out as much info as I can on it, and I think it's what's really happening, that the earth is growing. And if you look at all the evidence, it just makes a lot more sense. You try to look at plate tectonics and the Pangea theory. It's just messy, and it doesn't look right to me. It looks like they put it all in there, and they tried to force it together. It's like trying to force a puzzle together. It just doesn't fit. But if you look at the expanding earth theory, it's just so it's elegant. It just fits perfectly with what we see. That the continents are like kind of like an eggshell, and they were like the original crust of the earth, like 4 billion years ago or whatever. And as the earth started to grow, that original eggshell broke and started drifting away from each other as the oceans grew in between. And that looks like, to me, explains what we're seeing perfectly. There's a lot of videos that show that if you shrink it all down, it all fits back together. I can show you. Can see all the videos on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of it, but there's also a lot of debunking videos. That's what really makes it interesting to me, is that so many people come out and just shit all over it. Like, oh no, it's totally impossible that the earth cannot be growing. We have the numbers and science. If you look at what they put on the History Channel, or like the Science Channel, I watched this program like a long time ago, like 10 years ago. It was called How the Earth Was Made, and it says that, all these asteroids kept bashing, and, the aggregation theory, where all the planets were put together by it could be true, but then at some point it became this mass that was the size of the early Earth, and from there it's grown into where we are today. But another thing about theory is that the growth is like exponential. As the earth grows, it's growing faster and faster as it grows. So when the dinosaurs were here, it was like a lot smaller, which explains a lot. But I just think it's an interesting theory, and it makes a lot more sense than plate tectonics and the Pangea theory which modern science dogma just clings to. Like, yeah, this is what happened. This is, there's subduction. That's why, everybody knows that the oceans are rifting. That's where the Earth's growing, is in the middle of the oceans, where the new land is being created. But the Pangea theory and plate tectonics says that it's also being subducted back under the continents, so that the Earth doesn't grow. It's kind of like the ocean's like a big conveyor belt, where just new rocks created, it moves across the ocean, and it gets sucked back under the continent. I don't think that's true. It don't make no sense. The establishment of science and education and the mainstream media and all that, they won't touch it, man. You won't hear a word about it. In school, they won't talk about it. It's just totally out of the question for any kind of, which I find fascinating, that even in, like on the Science Channel and stuff, they won't even consider it, which makes me think that it's true. That's another reason why I believe it, because these people that are in control of the world, they don't want us to know the truth of anything. So Why wouldn't they lie to us about that too? You know, it's just everything. That's what's really, really interesting about it. That these people actually, they probably know it's true, but they won't admit it because their apple carts are all set up and they can't have them disturbed. You know, that's how a lot of people put it, which is, I think, exactly what's going on. Also, you know, the modern science is all rigged up to support all their bullshit, crappy agendas, man. Like, Obama just came out with a new climate change agenda, climate change regulations. It's, you know, they geoengineer. We see it all around us, and they blame it on humans and tax us. Create weather and storms and look at this, man. This is never flooded like this. But this is nothing compared to what a lot of people are going through. But where was I? Yeah, the whole conspiracy of science, you know. And then people come out on the internet, YouTube and stuff, and they talk about this theory. You know, this is just one example of it. You know, and all the attack dogs that come out of the woodwork, man, to support the official story. You know, it's just like everything else. That's what's really interesting to me, man. Any kind of dogma that the establishment supports, and they have all these watchdogs come out and attack it, like, this is so ridiculous, you know. This guy, the main guy that comes out with all this information, Neil Adams, you know, they discredit him because he's a comic book artist. Technically, it can't be proven, right? I think you can, though, if you just look at all the evidence. But technically, can they prove plate tectonics, really? I don't know, man. It's, you know, there's some pretty good debunking of plate tectonics, which, you know, it's like, it doesn't make any sense that the continents are kind of bouncing around like how he said it was like pancakes on a grease skillet or something. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know, if all the continents were in one side of the earth at one time, you know, it just don't make any sense, man. But we'll look into that too, because it just shows, if you just look at the maps of the Pangea theory and the plate tectonics, they just look retarded, you know. They just look like I said, just like someone forced a puzzle together and it just don't fit. But yeah, also, you know, there's also, I've done a couple videos on the idea of the Gnosticism and the Gnostic teachings, where which is one of the teachings that believe that the earth is alive, a living entity, and it's been growing. I think that idea really ties in with expanding Earth. You know, I really do believe that the Earth is alive and it's growing, and it has its own consciousness, and it's a female entity, and it loves us like its own children, and a lot of evil fucking assholes are killing her. You know, I tell people, like, oh, fracking, some people tell me, like, oh, fracking's not bad. You know, fracking it's just a way of releasing energy. You know, I don't know, man. I think it's like they're sticking needles into the planet and killing it, sucking its blood out, basically. You know, they think that oil, they want us to believe that oil is a fossil fuel. You know, there's only so much of it. And I don't know, man. I think oil just might really be the blood of the earth, and it creates more. You know, all the life on Earth helps create more oil all the time. It's not it's being recreated constantly, you know. And it's like your body creates more blood when you bleed out, you know. It makes more blood. Well, if you bleed out too much, you know, if the humans suck too much blood out of it, they'll kill the freaking, they'll kill it. They'll kill the living planet, you know, suck the blood right out of it. That's a real interesting idea. I think it could be a possibility. Humans are like vampires sucking the blood out of their own mother. Horrible, isn't it? Put it that way. And then these greedy oil companies just keep it for themselves. They don't really, the people don't really benefit much from oil. We get to buy it from them so we can put it in our cars and get to work. Anyways, that's kind of off topic. But yeah, I believe the earth is growing and it's alive. And I think it's a fascinating subject. Hell of a lot better than plate tectonics. Yeah, I think the song Blackened by Metallica says it pretty well. What the humans are doing. Death of Mother Earth. Never her rebirth. Evolution's end. Never will it mend. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, what's going on with the humans killing the earth. It's kind of sad story, but like another Metallica song, sad but true.